Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. This is Robin again, and today I thought I would show you what I do to get my month set up in my bullet journal. This is the bullet journal monthly layout that it should look like, and I do set it up in two separate books because I have one book that is for my personal life and another book that is for my school life. I'm going to start here on the right page, and I'm going to make a series of boxes. This one on the left side is going to contain all of my school assignments, so it's going to be quite large. And I noticed here that my lines were really messy because this bookmark ribbon was stuck in between the pages, so I moved that on out. I chose this design for this month because it doesn't require rulers and it's supposed to look like it's handmade. And I'm doing a lot of time hand writing everything for my school notes, so I thought that this would be appropriate for this month, and I wanted to try something new. On the right side of this right page, I'm gonna make, 3 boxes, and I'm making it look like each of these boxes is a piece of paper that is taped down onto my bullet journal. So right now I'm creating these small pieces of tape by drawing those in first, and then I'll add the outlines for the box so that it looks like the paper is taped down onto the page. And I try to make sure that I'm working either from left to right or top to bottom so that I don't smear any of the ink. You might see me sometimes like either waving the page to try to dry the ink a little bit faster, or sometimes even like leaning down and blowing on it so that it can dry, so that I don't smear. I'm using a Sharpie pen here, which is not my favorite tool to use for bullet journaling, specifically because it likes to smear and doesn't dry very quickly. But I've got a couple of these right now, and this is what I grabbed. I do need to go out and get some new pens. I usually only need like one pen, and so Amazon doesn't send just one pen. Not usually, anyway. And so I need to find a time to go out to the store, either Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something, and see if I can find another pen that I do enjoy bullet journaling with. Alright, just finishing up all of these borders here. And it's really easy. Even if it looks uneven, it makes it look more like a piece of paper. So for those of you who want things to look a little bit more official but aren't really into using rulers to make something look super precise, this is a good option. Almost finished with this right page, and then I'm going to move on to the left page, which is going to be my calendar. This box on the left, I'm going to make it look a little bit like lined paper, kind of like loose leaf paper. So I'm putting this secondary line on the left, and then I'm going to add some dots on the left side to kind of look like holes for where you would put your paper into a binder. And I'm splitting the box up into 4 equal sections because I am taking 4 classes. In the comment section down below, I have a question for you guys that I would love to see an answer for. What kind of bullet journal spreads do you like the most? I typically go with a very minimal approach because I don't want to spend a ton of time creating a bullet journal spread. I see these gorgeous ones on Pinterest that have flowers and drawings and all kinds of doodles, but girl, I don't have time for that. So instead I draw boxes and I try to find fun borders that look like I spent a lot of time, when in actuality I really didn't. So on this left side, I'm going to create the calendar for the month. September has 5 weeks, kinda. It's got 30 days, but the first week starts on a Tuesday and the last week ends on a Wednesday, so it has 5 rows, and then obviously we have 7 columns for the 7 days of the week. And my journal here doesn't have the right number of spaces, like the dot grid doesn't measure out evenly so that I can use the dots always to create the largest possible calendar on the left side. So each of my columns is 3.5 boxes wide. And yeah, that kind of bothers the OCD part of my brain, but I'm not using this calendar to write anything. I'm really just using it as a visual guide and to also put like little dots of color coordinated, notes for myself so that I can know when I have an assignment due. So it doesn't bother me that much. When I drew the calendar, I did work from left to right when I was drawing the vertical lines and top to bottom when I'm drawing the horizontal ones so that I'm not smudging my lines. And then I'm making a border around this calendar and adding these circles in the corner because I kind of want it to look like it's maybe pinned onto the wall. Up top, I will be putting the word September, but I'm leaving a little bit of a gap in the border so that it looks like it's kind of hovering above the calendar. And then down on the bottom, I have a quote that I think works for this month. Here, I'll start doing my lettering. I'm going to be writing the word assignments right here. And I like to use handwritten fonts or minimal fonts that I find on Pinterest. I just go searching there and I find a graphic that shows me the entire alphabet within a font, and then I just copy that when I'm using it in my bullet journal. And for the most part, as long as it's not too complex, trying to copy this font, even if it doesn't look absolutely perfect, looks a little bit more official than my handwriting would. So I don't mind that it's not perfect, I just do something a little bit different to spice it up. Here I'm going to have my events, and I will just go ahead and write that in script. Here is going to be my goals for the month. And this is the section where I write myself notes for next month. And I'm a little bit nervous to go onto the left page because I don't want to smear anything I've written on the right, so I'm just going to continue to label things here with my actual handwriting. So I'm labeling it for my 4 classes. I've got Psych, Women's Health, US History, and Food and Culture. I like to write in all caps because if I'm writing in all caps, my letters don't go below the line and it makes everything much nicer and neater. What do you guys prefer? Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and add the numbers to my calendar here. Adding it to the upper left corner of each box. I started bullet journaling a couple of years back. My girlfriend Lena had one of these journals on her desk at work, and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. You draw all of this yourself? Why don't you just buy a planner? Tell me everything. How can I do it? And she introduced me to it, sent me all of the information she had, basically just like sent me Pinterest links and showed me her own bullet journals from the past. And I was not ready yet to completely commit and invest in one of those big fancy journals. So I went to my local Daiso, which, if you guys don't know what it is, it's basically like a Japanese dollar store. So you can get almost everything there for $1. And they had these really, really cute dot grid journals. They were pretty small, but they did the job of helping me learn how to bullet journal. So I opened one of those and I started organizing my months, and I found that just sitting down at the beginning of a month and really looking at what my events were, what I had to do for the month, and then splitting everything up into weeks so that I could have manageable chunks. It really helped me wrap my head around my life, and when I can put something down onto paper, I don't have to worry about it rattling around in my head anymore. So it really helps me with stress relief. Eventually I did graduate to the official journals. I got myself a Leuchtturm. I tried out some journals that have cork on the outside, and those were really, really cool. I enjoyed the paper on those a lot because it was really thick and it didn't bleed, or the ink didn't bleed through. And now I'm bullet journaling for school. I did take a break there for a little while because I had a baby about 15 months ago, and bullet journaling with an infant is almost impossible. Besides, what am I going to write on the calendar other than wake up the baby, change the baby, feed the baby? And especially now that we're dealing with lockdown, I didn't have anything to plan. So I'm really only getting back into it over the last month or so to kind of deal with some stress and daily journaling, daily logs, and then also to organize my class assignments. Alright, so you can see here that I made a mistake on the M. I was supposed to write an M on September, but instead I wrote like a B or something. I don't know what I was thinking. So I grabbed my whiteout, and I'm going to use the whiteout on that letter. It's one of those pens where you have to press it down and then the whiteout flows out. It's not exactly the right color for my journal paper, but it does the job, and I'm not going to notice it after it's dried and after I've written the actual letter over the top of it. The quote that I put on the bottom there is, "If you don't have the time to do it right, when will you have the time to do it over?" And I thought that was an applicable quote for myself right now. I'm actually starting my do-over in life. Or, if you look at it a different way, this is my do it right. I'm not waiting until it's too late. I did have to wait until it was the right time for me, but I'm finally going back to school. And I hope that I show my kiddos that doing what is right for you in your life, it's never too late to do that. Alright, I'm just erasing any of the little marks that I made to help me know where I should create my bullet journal boxes. And you'll probably notice, this is super irritating, some of this ink has been drying for minutes, but I'm erasing very gently over the top of it and still it's gonna smear. You'll see like little gray lines in the direction of my erasing. It's super annoying, but at the end of the day, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for something to help me organize my life. And the rest of it I'm kind of just gonna fast forward through because I'm adding in assignments and color coding. Basically, I'm using colored pencils to shade the name of my class, and then I'm going to use some dots in the calendar on the left side to indicate when I have an assignment or a quiz or a test. That way I can visually look at how things line up, and then also look at the assignments that are associated with those dots. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful. I do really enjoy watching folks on YouTube doing their bullet journal layouts. It gives me an idea of what to do and how to do it, and sometimes something that can look really complicated really becomes easy after I've seen how it's created. Let me know if this is something you enjoyed watching, and if you'd like to see my bullet journal layouts every month, or even my daily logs, or how I split up the week or a college semester. I'm happy to share any of that with you guys. Just let me know that it's something that you want. Until then, I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you later.